Under the scorching Egyptian sun, where sand whispers secrets in the wind, lies a land of pharaohs and forgotten gods. For millennia, its mysteries have slept, buried deep within tombs and whispered in hieroglyphs. But something stirs in the ancient sands, a discovery not of gold or treasure, but of something far more unsettling, something that chills the blood of even the most seasoned Egyptologists. We will start with the discovery of tombs and gold-covered sarcophagus at Saqqara necropolis. In 2023, two beautifully painted tombs and a stunning gold-covered coffin from the 5th and 6th dynasties of the Old Kingdom were found in the sands of Saqqara necropolis, a huge ancient burial ground south of Cairo. This recently discovered treasure trove gave researchers and history buffs all over the world a look into the lives and funeral customs of high-ranking Egyptian officials. The beautiful tomb of Amenhotep, a priest of the god Osiris, wrapped in gold, is without a doubt the discovery's star. Covered in gold leaf and made of wood, the coffin has elaborate patterns and religious symbols that have to do with the future. The coffin and tombs belong to important people, and they gave us information about their lives, their rites, and how they were buried. The pictures and signs on the tombs and sarcophagi show what the Egyptians thought about the future, their connection with the gods, and how important it was to follow the right burial procedures. Wall drawings with lots of small details and the sarcophagus's fine work show how advanced the art was in the Old Kingdom. More research into the coffin and its innards could help us learn a lot about how the bodies were mummified and what kinds of materials were used at that time. The tombs are still being dug up, and the gold-covered coffin is still being studied. Archaeologists are carefully writing down what they found, reading the ancient writing, and using scientific methods to find out more about the people who lived there and what they owned. The study that is still going on should help us understand this interesting time in Egyptian history even better and could lead to even more interesting finds in the future. There are still a lot of old secrets to be found in the Saqqara necropolis. This latest find is a strong reminder of how rich and complicated Egyptian culture was. Next, we will talk about the hidden chamber in the Pyramid of Khufu. The Great Pyramid of Giza, also known as the Pyramid of Khufu or Cheops, has fascinated and perplexed people for centuries. Its huge size, exact construction, and mysterious purpose have led to a huge number of ideas and investigations. In 2017, a groundbreaking discovery led to the discovery of a secret room deep inside the pyramid, adding another layer of mystery to it. Researchers from Japan and Egypt use a method called muon tomography to find a big hole about 30 feet long and 6 feet wide above the Grand Gallery. This hole led to a steep passageway that went up to the king's chamber. This room is hidden behind several levels of big stone blocks, and there is no known way to get to it. Archaeologists and Egyptologists were very excited when they found this secret room. It led to a lot of guesswork and theory. Some people think it might be a new grave room that hasn't been found before. It could hold the body of a queen or another royal figure. This idea is less likely, though, because there are no clear signs of a coffin or grave marks. Others think it might be a place of symbols connected to Khufu's journey to the future or a place where holy things used in old practices are kept. Some experts think it could be a part of the structure, a counterweight to balance the pressure from the upper rooms, or a ventilation shaft that lets air flow through the pyramid. There are big problems to solve when you try to explore the secret room. Because it is so deep inside the pyramid, it is almost impossible to get to without doing a lot of damage to the building. The tunnel is also very small, which makes any possible exploration even harder. To learn more about the secret room, researchers are still using non-invasive methods such as 3D models and scanning technology.
Soon we can figure out what is the main issue of this corridor.
Its secrets are still locked up for now, but its discovery has sparked new science research into the Great Pyramid and given us new ways to look into how it was built, what it was used for, and whether it has any hidden treasures. The discovery of this secret room adds to the Great Pyramid's lasting mystery. It's a sign that this ancient site still has secrets to be found. Even after hundreds of years of study, technology keeps getting better, and studying keeps going. Maybe one day the hidden room will reveal its secrets, adding another part to the Pyramid of Khufu's amazing story. The next discovery on our list is the Matariya Sun Temple in Heliopolis. In ancient Egypt, the Matariya Sun Temple in Heliopolis, which was also called the Temple of Ra-Atum, was a beautiful place to worship the sun god. It was in what is now the Cairo neighborhood of Matariya and was in the middle of Heliopolis, which was known as the City of the Sun during the time of the pharaohs. Many parts of the temple have been lost to time and the growth of Cairo, but new historical finds keep showing us what it was like and how grand it was. The temple was built during the 12th dynasty, which lasted from about 1971 BC to 1926 BC. Pharaoh Senusret I is credited with building it. Later pharaohs like Ramses II and Nectanebo I improved and added to it, demonstrating how significant it was in Egyptian history. The temple in Heliopolis was the center of the worship of the sun god. Ra, the sun god, was seen as the one who made the world and gave life, and the temple was where he was honored in events and rituals. It was amazing how big and grand the old temple complex was. Reconstructions and descriptions point to huge obelisks, statues, gardens, and temples decorated with elaborate reliefs and hieroglyphs. A German-Egyptian historical team has been working hard since 2012 to dig around the Matariya pillar, which is the only major part of the temple that still stands. Archaeological digs have found figure pieces, building materials, writings, and other items that help us understand the plan of the temple, its stages of construction, and the practices that were performed inside its walls. Each new find helps us figure out how the temple changed over time, why Heliopolis was important as a religious hub, and what priests and worshippers of the sun god did in their daily lives. Even though it is mostly destroyed, the Matariya Sun Temple is a real reminder of the beliefs and customs of ancient Egypt. It helps us picture how grand Heliopolis was and how much the Egyptians respected the sun god. As digs and studies of objects are still going on, they bring up new questions and new facts about the building and its time. We hope that this ongoing study will help us learn more about the past and religion of ancient Egypt. It is very important to study and protect Egypt's Matariya Sun Temple and other historical places so that the country's rich cultural history can be passed on to future generations. Even though the Matariya Sun Temple is broken up, it still holds memories of a great past. As researchers continue to find out more about it, we learn more about how clever, dedicated, and creative the Egyptians were who built it and worshiped the sun god inside. Last but not least, we will talk about the mummy wrapped in gold. When the golden mummy Shapes was found at Saqqara in 2023, this kind of image went from being possible to being real. This amazing discovery is not only beautiful to look at, but it also has huge historical importance because it shows how people in Egypt's old kingdom believed about the future, mummification, and social order. Shapes was buried in a very fancy way, even though he wasn't royalty and was thought to be a high-ranking official during the 4th dynasty. His carefully kept body was wrapped in many layers of gold leaf, which was a luxury that only pharaohs and their close friends and family could afford. This makes it sound like he was in a situation of great power and wealth. The gold was more than just a pretty touch, it had a deeper value. The Egyptians thought that gold had magical powers and was linked to the sun god Ra and endless life. Covering Shapes in gold would have meant that the sun's light would surround him, making sure that his trip to the future was filled with holy light. The gold leaf wasn't the only fancy thing that Shapes had. His mummy had a face made of gold, a lot of beads, and maybe a cloth shroud on it. The careful attention to detail and high-quality materials used show that the Old Kingdom used very advanced mummification methods. The golden coffin of Shapes brings up interesting questions about the Old Kingdom's social order and how wealth was shared. Even though he wasn't a king, the way he was treated shows that he was part of a powerful group, since he had access to resources and practices that were once thought to be only for royalty. This finding could change how we think about how people moved up in society and how the economy worked during this time. Before we wrap up this thrilling exploration, don't forget to hit that like button if you've enjoyed the adventure so far, and subscribe to our channel for more intriguing content.